Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Chris,
And Ralph,
and tonight we're going to be doing our quick review of
The Last of Us Episode 2.
episode 2. Alrighty, Ralph. So we are 2 weeks into this amazing show. Alright? Alright, so we're going to do just a quick review, a quick breakdown, and just our thoughts. So, the premise of this episode is for Joel and Tess to take Ellie to a checkpoint where the Fireflies are at. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, throughout this episode, we see the relationship between Joel and Ellie start to build,
Yeah.
which is going to be the premise of our episode, of our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, real quick, Ralphie, what were some of your favorite scenes of this episode?
Let's see. Eat the sandwich one.
Yeah, the sandwich dialogue.
Yeah. The museum.
Yeah, the museum scene.
And just those two.
Just those two? Okay, so quick rundown of this episode. Real quick. Episode starts off in Jakarta, which was mentioned in episode 1. In Jakarta, the scene takes place in 2003, right when everything started to happen around the world. We see a scientist. She's eating her lunch, and she gets taken into a facility to view a sample. She does an autopsy of a body, which just so happened to turn into a clicker. And this person was taken over by the fungi. And in this scene, we start to what I love about this particular opening scene of this episode is that it even deepens the explanation and the roots of how this stuff started off. It seems very disturbing because they asked the doctor, now that you know of this fungi that's starting to take over some people, can you create a medicine and a vaccine for us? And what she tells the not the officers, but the military people that are with her, what you have to do is bomb the city and kill everyone in it because we don't have medicine or vaccines for this. I want to go be with my family. So off the bat, as a viewer, you already feel uncomfortable, you already feel eerie, and you feel like this was a lost cause at the very beginning. So now we're jumping back 20 years back into our time in 2023 for the show. We see, like I had mentioned earlier, we see Joel and Ellie and some of their relationship start to actually develop. Joel does not want Ellie around because she was bit.
Yeah.
And he's scared that she's going to turn. And Tess is basically telling Joel, like, we don't have a choice. We need to go and take her to the checkpoint. We need our battery. And like what Ralphie mentioned was the sandwich dialogue.
Yeah.
So just tell them real quick, what was the dialogue between Joel and Ellie?
Whenever Joel fixing to grab his gun, Ellie, she asked him, "Can I have a gun?" And Joel said, "No." Well, my Spencer thought of the effing sandwich at them.
Yeah, so we just see some banter between Joel and Ellie. All right, going through the rest of the episode, the middle part of the episode is basically them working through a building and working their way through the ruins of Boston. We see conversations about how major cities around the world, like Boston, were bombed to try to slow down the spread of this fungi. And we start to see, you know, we learned that Tess, she was from Detroit. Obviously, Joel was from Texas. And, Ellie, she grew up in the quarantine zone. So she's in wonder and in awe of seeing a world outside of the quarantine zone. She's seeing, although it's the ruins of Boston, she's still seeing a major city. And it's really fascinating to her. And we just see her as a kid actually starting to explore the world. All right. So there's a particular scene that you had mentioned that you really liked, the museum scene.
Yeah.
There's a scene where Joel, Tess, and Ellie have to go through a Boston museum to get to where they're trying to go to at this checkpoint. In this scene, we see that there are clickers that cannot see, but they can hear, are attacking or lurking in the shadows of this museum. Ralphie, talk about this scene and how uncomfortable it made you feel.
Yeah, while watching how I was prepared for a jump scare.
Yeah, there was a couple of jump scares.
Yeah. And yeah, the scenes are very intense.
Oh, 100%
Yeah,
intense.
very intense.
Yeah. And big shout out to the actors that were playing these clickers and the makeup and the prosthetics because their movements, the sound. Well, the sound was after, but the sound and just the intensity that they had as those clickers. Awesome job, guys. We see the clickers attack Joel, Ellie, and Tess. Joel, Ellie, and Tess are working their way through the museum, trying to figure out how they can get away from these things. One thing leads to another. There's a shots fired. There's a fight scene. There's some stabbing, and ultimately they kill the two clickers that are attacking them. Ellie gets bit again, but it turns out she's immune to the bites. And little that we know, Tess ended up getting bit too. We would find that out in a few minutes. So they work their way out of the museum, get to the checkpoint, and what happened at the checkpoint of the Fireflies?
The Fireflies, I didn't.
They died.
Yeah.
Because one of them turned
into a
like a fungal clicker.
Yeah,
a clicker.
A clicker.
One of them turned into a clicker, and the Fireflies had to fight each other, and they all died. So now Tess is freaking out because what are they going to do now? They're not the ones that are supposed to take Ellie further west. They're just supposed to drop her off at that location, and they get to go about their way with the battery. Tess is upset. Joel's trying to figure out what to do, and Ellie's like, "Yo, Tess was bit," and it turns out that Tess is turning. She shows her wound by her neck, her chest, shoulder area, and she only has a few minutes until she turns into a clicker. While all this is happening, we see amazing tension between Joel and Tess. Him telling her, "What do? We can't, I can't leave you." And Tess is like, "Well, there's a horde of clickers coming down the street, and you have a minute to leave." She starts dumping barrels of gasoline that was in the area that they're in, and there's this moment where Joel is staring at Tess, and she's like, "Save who you can save." And Joel has this look. Pedro Pascal is amazing in this scene. He has this look of fear, anger, resentment, regret, sadness, all in one all in one look. And he's like, doesn't say anything to her. He just grabs Ellie and they leave. That's what he can do. He can't save Tess. Tess is gonna turn. So the horde of clickers are coming. There's this crazy scene where one of the clickers kisses Tess.
Yeah.
And then Tess blows everything up. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. You see Ellie look back at the location that they're at, sad, obviously, because she lost Tess, this person that she had just met the day before, but already has this emotional attachment because of how Tess would look, during the episode was giving Ellie tips and things like that. So overall, I think this episode was amazing. The episode 1 was a 10, episode 2 is a 10 as well.
Yeah.
I think
same as Rebel.
The museum scene is outstanding.
Yeah.
The opening scene in Jakarta is amazing. And I think Pedro Pascal just further proves why he's one of the best actors out there right now. I cannot wait for episode 3. I think we're going to get Bill. If you played the game, you know who that is. I think we're going to get Bill next episode. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Ralph, what would you give a scale of 1 to 10?
A 10.
A 10 as well? Wow. Okay, that's good. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, guys. And until next time, we will catch y'all. I am Chris.
And Ralph.
Peace.